The Volkswagen emissions scandal, also known as Dieselgate or Emissionsgate, began in September 2015, when the United States Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, issued a notice of violation of the Clean Air Act to German automaker Volkswagen Group. The agency had found that Volkswagen had intentionally programmed turbocharged direct injection, TDI, diesel engines to activate their emissions controls only during laboratory emissions testing, which caused the vehicle's NOx output to meet US standards during regulatory testing, but emit up to 40 times more NOx in real-world driving. Volkswagen deployed this programming software in about 11 million cars worldwide, including 500,000 in the United States, in model years 2009 through 2015. In 2014, the California Air Resources Board, CARB, had commissioned a study on emissions discrepancies between European and US models of vehicles from the International Council on Clean Transportation, ICCT, summing up the data from 3 different sources on 15 vehicles. Among them was a group of 5 scientists at West Virginia University, who detected additional emissions during live road tests on 2 out of 3 diesel cars. ICCT also purchased data from 2 other sources. The new road testing data and the purchased data were generated using portable emissions measurement systems, PEMS, developed by multiple individuals in the mid-late 1990s and published in May 2014. In 2015, Daniel Dalton MEP delivered the only legislative response to the emissions scandal that will ensure cars are tested on the roads throughout their lifetime. Regulators in multiple countries began to investigate Volkswagen, and its stock price fell in value by a third in the days immediately after the news. Volkswagen Group CEO Martin Winterken resigned, and the head of brand development Heinz-Jakob Neusser, Audi research and development head Ulrich Hackenberg, and Porsche research and development head Wolfgang Hatz were suspended. Volkswagen announced plans in April 2016 to spend €16.2 billion, $18 and 32 cents billion at April 2016 exchange rates, on rectifying the emissions issues, and planned to refit the affected vehicles as part of a recall campaign. In January 2017, Volkswagen pleaded guilty to criminal charges and signed an agreed statement of facts, which drew on the results of an investigation Volkswagen had itself commissioned from U.S. lawyers Jones Day. The statement set out how engineers had developed the defeat devices, because diesel models could not pass U.S. emissions tests without them, and deliberately sought to conceal their use. In April 2017, a U.S. federal judge ordered Volkswagen to pay a $2.8 billion criminal fine for rigging diesel-powered vehicles to cheat on government emissions tests. The unprecedented plea deal formalized the punishment which Volkswagen had agreed to. Winterken was charged in the United States with fraud and conspiracy on 3 May 2018. The scandal raised awareness over the high levels of pollution emitted by all diesel-powered vehicles from a wide range of car makers, which under real-world driving conditions exceeded legal emission limits. A study conducted by ICCT and ADAC showed the biggest deviations from Volvo, Renault, Jeep, Hyundai, Citroën and Fiat, resulting in investigations opening into other diesel emissions scandals. A discussion was sparked on the topic of software-controlled machinery being generally prone to cheating, and a way out would be to open source the software for public scrutiny. Volkswagen anti-pollution system in general, three-way catalytic converter technology, which has been very effective since the early 1980s at reducing nitrogen oxide in petrol engine exhaust, does not work well for diesel exhaust because of its relatively high proportion of oxygen. In 2005, parts of Volkswagen intended to purchase the rights to Mercedes' BlueTech system for reducing pollution, but other parts of Volkswagen rejected that and preferred to develop their own system. Starting in the 2009 model year, Volkswagen Group began migrating its light-duty passenger vehicle turbocharged direct injection (TDI) diesel engines to a common rail fuel injection system. This system allows for higher precision fuel delivery using electronically controlled fuel injectors and higher injection pressure, theoretically leading to better fuel atomization, better air forward/fuel ratio control, and by extension, better control of emissions. Model year 2009 Volkswagens were initially sold to the public in 2008. With the addition of a diesel particulate filter to capture soot, and on some vehicle models, a urea-based exhaust after-treatment system, Volkswagen described the engines as being as clean as or cleaner than US and Californian requirements, while providing good performance. In reality, the system failed to combine good fuel economy with compliant NOx emissions, and Volkswagen chose around 2006 to program the engine control unit to switch from good fuel economy and high NOx emissions to low emission compliant mode when it detected an emissions test, particularly for the EA189 engine. This caused the engine to emit NOx levels above limits in daily operation, but comply with US NOx standards when being tested, constituting a defeat device. In 2015 the news magazine Der Spiegel reported that at least 30 people at management level in Volkswagen knew about the deceit for years, which Volkswagen denied in 2015. As of 2014, Volkswagen was registered with a corporate average fuel economy, CAFE, of 34 miles per gallon US, 6.9 L /100 km, 41 miles per gallon imp. The low emissions levels of Volkswagen vehicles tested with the defeat device in operation enabled the company to receive green car subsidies and tax exemptions in the US. The 2009 Volkswagen Jetta diesel sedan was awarded Green Car of the Year. The award was rescinded in early October 2015. Volkswagen TheTruthandDare.com Clean Diesel campaign advertised on the Volkswagen Golf TDI at the 2010 Washington Auto Show. 2009-4, 2009-7, 2010, Volkswagen Research and Development Building in Wolfsburg graphic about selective catalytic reduction, SCR, system that uses diesel exhaust fluid. Definite, early warnings 1998. In 1998, a Swedish researcher criticized the new European driving cycle standard for allowing large emission differences between test and reality. The Washington Post also reported that in the late 1990s, EPA engineers at Virginia Testing Laboratory had built a system called Rover, designed to test a car's emissions on the road. The project was shut down in 2001. Despite preliminary tests indicating gaps between emissions from lab tests and real-world tests of about 10 to 20%. In 2011, the European Commission's Joint Research Centre published a report which found that all tested diesel vehicles emitted 0.93 plus or minus 0.3. 9 g/km and that the tested Euro 5 diesel vehicles emitted 0.62 plus or minus 0.19 g/km, which substantially exceeded the respective Euro 3/5 emission limit. In 2013, the research center then warned, sensors and electronic components in modern light-duty vehicles are capable of detecting the start of an emissions test in the laboratory, for example, based on acceleration sensors or not driven forward/not rotating wheels. Some vehicle functions may only be operational in the laboratory, if a predefined test mode is activated. Detecting emissions tests is problematic from the perspective of emissions legislation, because it may enable the use of defeat devices that activate, modulate, delay, or deactivate emissions control systems with the purpose of either enhancing the effectiveness of these systems during emissions testing or reducing the effectiveness of these systems under normal vehicle operation and use. While the use of defeat devices is generally prohibited, exceptions exist in cases where it is necessary to protect the engine against damage and to ensure safe vehicle operation, EC 2007. These exceptions leave room for interpretation and provide scope, together with the currently applied test procedure, for tailoring the emissions performance. The European Commission and European governments could not agree upon who was responsible for taking action. In the United Kingdom, The Department for Transport received a report from the International Council on Clean Transportation, ICCT, in October 2014, which stated there was a real-world nitrogen oxides compliance issue with diesel passenger cars. The UK's DEFRA research indicated a significant reduction in NOx and particulate matter from 1983 to 2014. Respirable suspended particles with a diameter of 10 micrometers, also known as PM10, including diesel particulates, halved since 1996 despite the increased number and size of diesel cars in the UK. The independent body International Council on Clean Transportation, ICCT, commissioned a study in 2014 and obtained data on 15 vehicles from 3 sources. John German, co-lead of the US branch of ICCT, said the idea for the very ordinary test came from Peter Mock, managing director ICCT in Europe. Mr. German said they chose to put US vehicles through on-the-road tests because their emissions regulations are more stringent than those in the European Union. The ICCT expected the cars to pass, and thought they would be able to use the results to demonstrate to Europeans that it was possible to run diesel cars with cleaner emissions. The study found emissions discrepancies in the diesel VW Passat and VW Jetta, and no discrepancies in a BMW X5. They wanted to test a Mercedes as well, but could not obtain one. A group of scientists at West Virginia University submitted a proposal to ICCT, and John German awarded them a US $50,000 grant for a study to conduct tests on 3 diesel cars, a Volkswagen Passat, a Volkswagen Jetta, and a BMW X5. ICCT also purchased data from Emissions Analytics, a UK-based emissions consultancy, and from stakeholders in the Real Driving Emissions Light-Duty Vehicle Working Group in charge of amending Euro 6 regulations. In early 2014, 2 professors and 2 students began testing emissions from the 3 vehicles under road conditions, using a portable emissions measurement system, making it possible to collect real-world driving emissions data, for comparison with laboratory dynamometer testing. The 3 vehicles were all certified at a California Air Resources Board facility before the tests as falling below the emissions limits when using the standard laboratory testing protocols. They put 2,400 kilometers, 1,500 mi, on the Jetta and BMW. For their final test, they wanted to put even more mileage on the Passat and drove it from Los Angeles to Seattle and back again, virtually the entire west coast of the United States, over 3,200 kilometers, 2,000 mi. The BMW was at or below the standard, with exception of rural up/downhill driving conditions. But the researchers found that under real-world driving conditions the Jetta exceeded US emissions limits by a factor of 15 to 35 while the Passat exceeded the limit by a factor of 5 to 20. The emissions far exceeded legal limits set by both European and US standards. One of the testers said, "We did so much testing that we couldn't repeatedly be doing the same mistake again and again." John German said the deceit required more effort than merely adding some code to the engine software, as the code would also have to be validated. The US test results confirmed the ICCT's findings in Europe. The West Virginia scientists did not identify the defeat device, but they reported their findings in a study they presented to the EPA and CARB in May 2014. In May 2014, Colorado's rapid screen real-world emissions test data reinforced the suspected abnormally high emissions levels. After a year-long investigation, an international team of investigators identified the defeat device as a piece of code labeled acoustic condition which activated emissions curbing systems when the car's computer identified it was undergoing a test. The Volkswagen and Audi cars identified as violators had been certified to meet either the US EPA Tier 2/bin 5 emissions standard or the California LEV 2 ULEV standard. Either standard requires that nitrogen oxide emissions not exceed 0.043 grams per kilometer, 0.0. 7G/me, for engines at full useful life, which is defined as either 190,000 kilometers, 120,000 mi, or 240,000 kilometers, 150,000 mi, depending on the vehicle and optional certification choices. This standard for nitrogen oxide emissions is among the most stringent in the world. For comparison, the contemporary European standards known as Euro 5, 2008 EU5 compliant, 2009-2014 models, and Euro 6, 2015 models, only limit nitrogen oxide emissions to 0.18 grams per kilometer, 0.29 G/me, and 0.08 grams per kilometer, 0.13 G/me, respectively. Defeat devices are forbidden in the EU. The use of a defeat device is subject to a penalty. On the 18th of September, 2015, the US EPA served a notice of violation, November, on Volkswagen Group, alleging that approximately 480,000 Volkswagen and Audi automobiles equipped with 2-liter TDI engines, and sold in the US between 2009 and 2015, had an emissions compliance defeat device installed. A notice of violation is a notification to the recipient that the EPA believes it has committed violations and is not a final determination of liability. Volkswagen's defeat device is specially written engine management unit firmware that detects the position of the steering wheel, vehicle speed, the duration of the engine's operation, and barometric pressure when positioned on a dynamometer using the FTP75 test schedule. These criteria very closely match the EPA's required emissions testing protocol, which allowed the vehicle to comply with emissions regulations by properly activating all emissions control during testing. The EPA's November alleged that under normal driving conditions, the software suppressed the emissions controls, allowing better fuel economy, at the expense of emitting up to 40 times more nitrogen oxides than allowed by law. In February 2017, Der Spiegel reported that in February 2015, ex-Israeli diplomat Avi Primer had shown Ferdinand Piëch, then Volkswagen chairman of the board at the time, a document in which U.S. agencies warned CEO Martin Winterken early about the manipulation. During this meeting at the end of February 2015, Primer introduced Piëch to his friend Yuval Diskin, who after retiring from directing the Israeli Secret Service of the Interior Shin Bet, had founded a cybersecurity company. Shin Bet apparently knew about the scandal early. Primer confirmed that the meeting took place, but both Primer and Diskin denied tipping off Piëch. In early March 2017, Piëch asked Winterken whether there had been a warning by U.S. agencies, which Winterken denied. Former Volkswagen AG CEO Martin Winterken in March 2015. According to the EPA, Volkswagen had insisted for a year before the outbreak of the scandal that discrepancies were mere technical glitches. Volkswagen only fully acknowledged that they had manipulated the vehicle emission tests after being confronted with evidence regarding the defeat device. The first sign that Volkswagen was ready to come clean reportedly occurred on the 21st of August, 2015 at a conference on green transportation in Pacific Grove, California, where an unnamed company representative approached Christopher Grundler, director of the EPA Office of Transportation and Air Quality, and surprised him by informally admitting that the company had been deceiving regulators. A CARB official was standing next to Grundler at the time. Formal acknowledgement of the deception was made by Volkswagen executives in Germany and the United States to EPA and California officials during a 3 September conference call, during which Volkswagen executives discussed written materials provided to the participants demonstrating how Volkswagen's diesel engine software circumvented U.S. emissions tests. That admission came after the EPA threatened to withhold approval for the company's 2016 Volkswagen and Audi diesel models. I am shocked by the events of the past few days. I am stunned that misconduct on such a scale was possible in the Volkswagen Group. As CEO, I accept responsibility for the irregularities. I am doing this in the interests of the company even though I am not aware of any wrongdoing on my part. Former Volkswagen CEO Martin Winterken resignation statement, the 23rd of September 2015. Volkswagen CEO Martin Winterken said, "I personally am deeply sorry that we have broken the trust of our customers and the public." Winterken was in charge at Volkswagen from the start of 2008 to September 2015. He attributed the admitted wrongdoing to the terrible mistakes of a few people. Winterken initially resisted calls to step down from his leadership role at VW, but then resigned as CEO on the 23rd of September 2015. Volkswagen Group of America CEO Michael Horn was more direct, saying, "We've totally screwed up." Horn added, "Our company was dishonest with the EPA, and the California Air Resources Board and with all of you." Olaf Lies, a Volkswagen board member and economy minister of Lower Saxony, later told the BBC that the people who allowed this to happen, or who made the decision to install this software, acted criminally, and must be held personally accountable. He also said the board only found out about the problems shortly before the media did, and expressed concerns over why the board wasn't informed earlier about the problems when they were known about over a year ago in the United States. Volkswagen announced that 11 million cars were involved in the falsified emission reports, and that over $7 billion would be earmarked to deal with the costs of rectifying the software at the heart of the pollution statements. The newly appointed CEO of Volkswagen, Matthias Müller, stated that the software was only activated in a part of those 11 million cars, which has yet to be determined. The German tabloid Bild claimed that top management had been aware of the software's use to manipulate exhaust settings as early as 2007. Bosch provided the software for testing purposes and warned Volkswagen that it would be illegal to use the software to avoid emissions compliance during normal driving. Der Spiegel followed Bild with an article dated the 30th of September 2015 to state that some groups of people were aware of this in 2005 or 2006. Süddeutsche Zeitung had similarly reported that Heinz Jakob Neusser, one of Volkswagen's top executives, had ignored at least one engineer's warnings over possibly illegal practices in 2011. On the 28th of September 2015, it was reported that Volkswagen had suspended Heinz Jakob Neusser, head of brand development at its core Volkswagen brand, Ulrich Hackenberg, the head of research and development at its brand Audi, who oversees technical development across the Volkswagen Group, and Wolfgang H.T.Z., research and development chief at its sports car brand Porsche, who also heads engine and transmissions development of the Volkswagen Group. On the same day, it was reported that besides the internal investigation of the incidents, the supervisory board of Volkswagen had hired American law firm Jones Day to carry out an independent investigation. Computer World suggested that a software audit trail and test logs were ways to investigate what took place when. In February 2016, Volkswagen also contracted 3 public relations firms, Kext in the United States, Heringskapner in Germany, Finsbury in Britain, in addition to its usual US-retained firm Edelman. To further help deal with the scandal, Volkswagen hired ex-FBI Director Louis Freeh, alongside former German constitutional judge Christine Homann-Denard, previously employed by Daimler, and as of 2016 on Volkswagen's board as its Director of Integrity and Legal Affairs. CO2 emissions. On the 3rd of November 2015, Volkswagen revealed that its internal investigation found that CO2 emissions and fuel consumption figures were also affected by irregularities. These new issues, first estimated to cost up to €2 billion to repair, involved mainly diesel, but also some petrol models, with initial estimates suggesting that approximately 800,000 vehicles equipped with 1.4, 1.6 and 2.0-liter motors from VW, Skoda, Audi and Seat might be affected. On the 9th of December 2015, Volkswagen revised these estimates, saying that only around 36,000 vehicles are affected by the irregularities, while also affirming that it had found no evidence of unlawful changing of CO2 emissions data. The news prompted a 7.3% increase in Volkswagen preference shares on the same day. In November 2016, California regulators claimed to have discovered software installed on some Audi models that allowed the manufacturer to cheat CO2 emissions during standard testing, thereby also masking the car's contribution to global warming. On the 20th of November, 2015, the EPA said Volkswagen officials told the agency that all 3.0-liter TDI diesel engines sold in the U.S. from 2009 through 2015 were also fitted with emissions cheating software, in the form of alternate exhaust control devices. These are prohibited in the United States, however the software is legal in Europe. Volkswagen acknowledges these devices' existence, but maintains that they were not installed with a forbidden purpose. On the 4th of January, 2016, the U.S. Department of Justice filed a complaint in a federal court against VW, alleging that the respective 3.0-liter diesel engines only meet the legal emission requirements in a temperature conditioning mode that is automatically switched on during testing conditions, while at all other times, including during normal vehicle operation, the vehicles operate in a normal mode that permits NOx emissions of up to 9 times the federal standard. The complaint covers around 85,000 3.0-liter diesel vehicles sold in the United States since 2009, including the Volkswagen Touareg, Porsche Cayenne, Audi A6 Quattro, Audi A7 Quattro, Audi A8, Audi A8L, Audi Q5, and Audi Q7 models. On the 29th of September, 2015, Volkswagen announced plans to refit up to 11 million affected vehicles, fitted with Volkswagen's EA189 diesel engines, including 5 million at Volkswagen brand, 2.1 million at Audi, 1.2 million at Škoda and 1.8 million light commercial vehicles. SEAT said that 700,000 of its diesel models were affected. In Europe alone, a total of 8 million vehicles are affected. In Germany, 2.8 million vehicles will have to be recalled, followed by the UK, with 1.2 million. In France, 984,064 vehicles were affected, in Austria around 360,000, while in the Czech Republic 148,000 vehicles were involved, of which 101,000 were Škodas. In Portugal, Volkswagen said it had sold 94,400 vehicles with the software. The repair may not require a formal recall. In the UK, for example, the company will simply offer to repair the cars free of charge. A recall is only required when a defect is identified that could result in serious injury. As the rule's violation involved enabling emission controls during testing, but turning it off under normal conditions to improve performance or fuel mileage, it has been speculated that the software update might make cars perform less efficiently and impair fuel economy. According to VW, however, its proposed solutions will be designed to achieve legal EU emissions compliance without impairing engine performance or consumption. As of September 2015, it was unclear whether the repair would include hardware modifications, such as selective catalytic reduction upgrades. The recall was scheduled to start in January 2016, with all affected cars projected to be fixed by the end of the year. The company also announced a review of all of its brands and models, including its supercar Marque Bugatti. On the 8th of October 2015, Volkswagen US CEO Michael Horn said in testimony before the US Congress that it could take years to repair all the cars, especially the older models, due to the required complex hardware and software changes. He said that the fixes would likely preserve fuel economy ratings, but there might be a slight impact on performance. On the 12th of October 2015, Paul Willis, Volkswagen UK Managing Director, told the Commons Transport Select Committee that about 400,000 Volkswagen cars in the UK will need fuel injectors altered as well as a software fix. The vehicles requiring the hardware fix are the 1.6-litre diesel models. The 1.2-litre and 2.0-litre diesel models will only require a software fix. On the same day, Volkswagen announced it would overhaul its entire diesel strategy, saying that in Europe and North America it will switch as soon as possible to the use of selective catalytic reduction technology to improve diesel emissions. It also announced plans to accelerate the development of electric cars and plug-in hybrids, as well as petrol, instead of diesel engines for smaller cars. On 12-13 October 2015, Volkswagen Group vehicle drivers in the UK started receiving notification letters to rectify the issue. Volkswagen later announced a timeline for UK diesel recalls, citing March 2016 for 2.0-litre engines, June 2016 for 1.2-litre engines, and October 2016 for 1.6-litre engines. At the beginning of October 2015, Volkswagen suggested to let car owners decide whether their cars would be recalled for handling. However, the German Federal Motor Transport Authority, Kraftfahrtbundesamt, or KBA, views the software as illegal, and has ordered a full recall of all affected cars in Germany. Volkswagen then decided to recall around 8.5 million cars in Europe, about a third of all its car deliveries since 2009. KBA requires Volkswagen to send a recall plan to KBA before the end of October for 2.0-litre cars, and end of November for 1.2 and 1.6-litre cars. If KBA approves a plan, Volkswagen can then start handling the cars. The German authorities require that Volkswagen removes the software and that Volkswagen ensures that emission rules are fulfilled. Media estimates that the KBA procedure sets a precedent for how authorities in other countries handle the case. On the 18th of November 2015, Autoblog reported that the KBA was reviewing a Volkswagen fix for the affected 1.6 diesel engine. On the 25th of November 2015, Volkswagen said the fix involved a minor hardware modification to the car's air intake system, alongside a software update. This low-cost solution contradicted earlier speculation regarding the possible fitting of new injection nozzles and catalytic converters. In December 2015, Volkswagen said that the affected 1.2-litre and 2.0-litre diesel engines only needed a software update. As of November 2015, the KBA had approved the fixes, with the first recalls likely to begin in January 2016. According to VW, the measures aimed to achieve legal EU emissions compliance without impairing engine output, fuel consumption, or performance. The simple fixes with inexpensive parts and software were then possible, though not available when the engines were developed, because engine technology understanding and intake flow simulation capabilities had matured in the meantime, to address the burning of diesel and air mixtures via intake flow. Shaping. As of December 2015, due to stricter environmental legislation, fixes for US vehicles were expected to take longer to produce and be more technically complex. As of February 2016, there were 3 sizes of affected diesel engines, and more than a dozen variations to the repairs exist, prompting Volkswagen to roll out the recalls in waves for each cluster of vehicle. The first model to be repaired was the low-volume Volkswagen Amarok. Classified as a light commercial vehicle, the Amarok pickup has a higher Euro 5 NOx emissions limit than the passenger cars that are yet to have an available approved fix. German motoring journal Automotor und Sport tested 2 Amarok TDI pickups pre- and post-software update and found that whilst engine power had remained the same, fuel consumption had increased by 0.5 liters /100 km. This is believed in turn to have delayed the next wave of updates to the larger volume Passat model, which had been expected to start on the 29th of February 2016 due to the further testing of the update by the KBA. Volkswagen confirmed on the 11th of April 2016 that the Passat recall would be delayed as testing had revealed higher fuel consumption. In 2017, Swedish auto journal Teknikens Värld performed tests on 10 different models, and most of them showed a reduction in power output and increase in fuel consumption after having the update applied. In France, The Mediacom media agency, which buys advertising for Volkswagen, warned the French newspapers on the 22nd of September 2015 that it would cancel planned Volkswagen and Audi campaigns in case they would cover the emission violations. Given the scale that the scandal had already taken by that time, the threat had little effect on its coverage. Citation needed. On the occasion of German Unity Day, Volkswagen launched an ad campaign in German Sunday newspapers, that it wanted to express its joy about the 25th anniversary of German reunification, its pride about having shaped the country together with all people for the last 25 years, to give thanks for the confidence of the customers it had experienced during all this time, and that it wanted to thank all its employees and trade partners in Germany, and that in one sentence, that it would do everything to win back the confidence of its customers. In September 2015, Volkswagen's Belgian importer, D'Ieteren, announced that it would offer free engine upgrades to 800 customers who had ordered a vehicle with a diesel engine which was likely to have been fitted with illegal software. As of October 2015, sales of vehicles with EA189 engines were halted in some European countries, including Spain, Switzerland, Italy, the Netherlands, Belgium and the UK. In the United States, Volkswagen withdrew its application for emissions certification for its 2016 diesel models, leaving thousands of vehicles stranded at ports in October 2015, which the company said contained software which should have been disclosed to and certified by the EPA. EPA quarantined some 2016 models until it would become clear that their catalysts perform the same on the road as they do in tests. U.S. Congressional Testimony, October 2015 External Video Emissions Investigation Hearing, C-SPAN, the 8th of October 2015. On the 8th of October 2015, Volkswagen U.S. CEO Michael Horn testified before the United States House Committee on Energy and Commerce stating, "This was not a corporate decision, from my point of view, and to my best knowledge today. This was a couple of software engineers who put this in for whatever reason. Some people have made the wrong decisions in order to get away with something that will have to be found out." The response was widely ridiculed. On the 9th of November 2015, Volkswagen announced that 482,000 diesel Audi and Volkswagen owners in the United States would be eligible to receive $1,000 in vouchers, in addition to the $2,000 it is offering current Volkswagen owners for trade ins. On the 18th of November 2015, Volkswagen said that approximately 1/4 of the affected vehicle owners had applied to the program, which was estimated to cost at least $120 million in benefits. Volkswagen confirmed that it is offering vouchers including to customers in Canada. Volkswagen America said that accepting the gift cards does not prevent owners from filing lawsuits. Volkswagen also created a claims fund, managed by the well-known mediation attorney Kenneth Feinberg, which will offer full compensation packages, in the form of cash, buybacks, repairs or replacement cars, to the approximately 600,000 United States owners affected by the scandal. Despite earlier hints to the contrary, in December 2015 Volkswagen CEO Matthias Müller said that customers outside the US and Canada should also expect some type of compensation package. "We are working on an attractive package, let's call it compensation, for reduction in residual values in our cars." However, on the 11th of January 2016, a Volkswagen spokesman said there won't be compensation. All the indications are that residual values are unaffected. The company, which continued to face pressure from EU officials to compensate European drivers as well, blamed the confusion on a slight mistranslation. EU Commissioner Elżbieta Pieńkowska said Volkswagen was treating European consumers unfairly, and Volkswagen responded that the situation in US and Canadian markets, where confidence in diesel technology was severely shaken and clients needed to wait longer for an engine fix due to tougher emissions standards, was not automatically comparable with other markets. On the 21st of April 2016, The Federal District Court for the Northern District of California, which was appointed in December 2015 to oversee almost all of the U.S. litigation, including claims filed by vehicle owners and state governments, announced that Volkswagen would offer its U.S. customers substantial compensation and buy back nearly 500,000 2.0-liter vehicles, as part of a settlement in North America. The court appointed former FBI Director Robert Mueller as a mediator to oversee the negotiations between claimants, regulators, and Volkswagen, to produce a final consent decree by late June 2016. Distribution of estimated actual excess Volkswagen light-duty diesel vehicle NOx emissions summed over 2008 through 2015, kilogram per kilometer to. The median value of emissions is used for each year. Emission density peaks at 446 kg per kilometer to annual excess Volkswagen light-duty diesel vehicle NOx emissions in kilotons, million kilogram. Results from 2008 through 2015, blue, are estimates of actual excess emissions. Results from 2016 onward, red, are forecast based on the existing in-use vehicle fleet assuming no new sales of non-compliant vehicles from September 2015 and no retrofitting, used to calculate the benefit of a return to compliance. The shaded region indicates the 95% confidence interval. The discontinuity is due to the difference in the baseline for past, based on FTP 75 drive cycle measurements, and future, based on a return to regulatory limit, emissions. Health consequences main article, diesel exhaust. This article needs attention from an expert on the subject. See the talk page for details. When placing this tag, consider associating this request with a wiki project. September 2015. Deaths. A peer-reviewed study published in Environmental Research Letters estimated that approximately 59 premature deaths will be caused by the excess pollution produced between 2008 and 2015 by vehicles equipped with the DEFeat device in the United States, the majority due to particulate pollution, 87%, with the remainder due to ozone, 13%. The study also found that making these vehicles emissions compliant by the end of 2016 would avert an additional 130 early deaths. Earlier non-peer-reviewed studies published in media sources quoted estimates ranging from 10 to 350 excess deaths in the United States related to the DEFeat devices based on varying assumptions. Non-fatal health impacts. Since NO2 is a precursor to ground-level ozone, it may cause respiratory problems including asthma, bronchitis and emphysema. Nitrogen oxides amplify the effect of fine particulate matter soot, which causes heart problems, a form of air pollution estimated to kill 50,000 in the United States annually. A peer-reviewed study published in Environmental Pollution estimated that the fraudulent emissions would be associated with 45,000 disability-adjusted life years, dailies, and a value of life lost of at least $39 billion. In June 2016, Axel Friedrich, formerly with the German equivalent of the EPA and a co-founder of the International Council on Clean Transportation, stated it's not just fraud, it's physical assault. Environmental consequences. NOx also contribute to acid rain, and visibly brown clouds or smog due to both the visible nature of NO2, and the tropospheric ozone created by NO. NO and NO2 are not greenhouse gases, whereas N2O is. NO2 is a precursor to ground-level ozone. Ambox current red.svg. This section needs to be updated. Please update this article to reflect recent events or newly available information. August 2017, Government Actions Australia. In October 2015, the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission announced that it will be investigating Volkswagen for possible violations of consumer and safety standards. In March 2017, the Sydney Morning Herald reported that the ACCC had taken Audi and Volkswagen to federal court and that a voluntary recall for affected cars for software updates and in some cases hardware updates had begun in December 2016. As of January 2018, several class action suits were underway against Volkswagen, Audi and Skoda. In October 2015, the Belgian Chamber of Representatives set up a special Dieselgate committee. It finalized a consensus report in March 2016 for the government to implement recommendations, with near unanimous approval on 28 April 2016. In January 2016, public broadcast of Vlaams Radio en Television Roep Organisatie reported on Opel Zafira cars having lower emissions after an update compared to before receiving the update. Opel denied deploying software updates influencing emissions, and the Economic Inspection of the federal government started an investigation on the request of Minister of Consumer Protection Chris Peters. As of October 2015, Volkswagen Brazil confirmed that 17,057 units of its Amarok midsize pickups produced between 2011 and 2012 and sold in Brazil were equipped with the emissions cheating software. The Brazilian Institute for the Environment and Renewable Natural Resources, IBAMA, launched an investigation, warning that Volkswagen could face fines up to $50,000,000. In September 2017, Volkswagen Brazil was ordered to pay $1,000,000,000,000 to the 17,000 owners of the Amarok pickups equipped with defeat devices, as decided by the First Business Court of the Court of Justice of Rio de Janeiro. The automaker may still appeal the decision. The total amount reaches $1,092,648,000, $348 million at the September 2017 exchange rate, and each consumer will receive $54,000, $17,000, for material damages and another $10,000, $3,000, for moral damages. In addition, the magistrate ordered the automaker to pay an additional $1,000,000 into the National Consumer Protection Fund. According to the judge, the purpose was to compensate the Brazilian society as a collective moral damage of a pedagogical and punitive nature because of the collective fraud caused in the domestic motor vehicle market. In September 2015, Environment Canada announced that it had begun an investigation to determine if defeat devices were installed in Volkswagen vehicles to bypass emission control tests in Canada. On 15 December 2016 an agreement was reached which allowed buybacks or trade-ins based on market value on 18 September 2015 or fitting an approved emissions modification. All three options also added a cash payment between $5,100 and $8,000. Ontario provincial authorities executed a search warrant at Volkswagen Canada offices in the Toronto area on 19 September 2017 as part of its investigation into the emissions scandal that rocked the company 2 years ago. The Ministry of the Environment and Climate Change have charged Volkswagen AG with one count under the province's Environmental Protection Act, alleging the German company did not comply with Ontario emission standards. The allegations have not been proven in court. Citation needed. In July 2018, Volkswagen Group Canada announced plans for its new Electrify Canada subsidiary to launch a network of public fast charging stations in major cities and along major highways, starting with 32 charging sites in the four most populated provinces: Ontario, Quebec, British Columbia and Alberta. In October 2015, China's General Administration of Quality Supervision, Inspection and Quarantine announced the recall of 1,946 imported Tiguan SUVs and 4 imported Passat B6 sedans, in order to fix the emissions software problems. In September 2015, government regulatory agencies and investigators initiated proceedings in France, Italy, Germany, Switzerland, Spain, the Netherlands, the Czech Republic and Romania. Several countries, vague, called for a Europe-wide investigation. In October 2015 Werner Hoyer, president of the European Investment Bank, EIB said the bank was considering recalling Volkswagen loans, and announced their own investigation into the matter. On the 27th of October, 2015, the European Parliament voted a resolution urging the bloc to establish a federal authority to oversee car emissions, following reports in the press that top EU environmental officials had warned, since early 2013, that manufacturers are tweaking vehicles to perform better in the lab than on the road. The resolution urged for tougher emissions tests to be fully implemented in 2017, instead of being phased in between 2017-2019, as had been originally planned. However, the European Commission proceeded with passing legislation that allowed the car industry an extra year before having to comply with the newer regulation. Also, it was revealed, by whom, that the new realistic EU driving emissions test will continue to allow cars to emit more than twice the legal limit of nitrogen oxides, NOx, from 2019 and up to 50% more from 2021. The legislation, opposed only by the Netherlands, is considered, by whom, a great victory for the car industry, and has drawn stern critique from other MEPs. Dutch MEP Bas Eickhout referred to the new test as a sham, while Liberal Democrat MEP Catherine Bearder described the legislation as a disgraceful stitch-up by national governments, who are once again putting the interests of car makers ahead of public health. In December 2015, the EU Parliament voted to establish a special committee to investigate whether regulators and executive officials, including the European Commission, failed to oversee the car industry and its pollution testing regimes. In June 2016, documents leaked to the press indicated that in 2010, European Commission officials had been warned by their in-house science team that at least one car manufacturer was possibly using a NOx-related defeat device in order to bypass emission regulation. Kathleen Van Bremt, the chair of the EU inquiry into the scandal, found the documents shocking and suggested that they raised serious concerns with regard to the future of Commission officials. These documents show that there has been an astonishing collective blindness to the defeat device issue. In the European Commission, as well as in other EU institutions. Renault and Peugeot's headquarters were raided by fraud investigators in January and April 2016, respectively. As of January 2016, Renault recalled 15,000 cars for emission testing and fixing. French authorities opened an inquiry in March 2016 into Volkswagen over the rigging of emission tests, with prosecutors investigating suspicions of aggravated deception. In September 2015, former Volkswagen chief executive Martin Winterken resigned over the scandal, saying he had no knowledge of the manipulation of emissions results. 1 week later, German prosecutors launched an investigation against him. On the 1st of October, a German prosecutor clarified, it was looking into allegations of fraud from unidentified individuals, but that Winterken was not under formal investigation. On the 8th of October 2015, police raided Volkswagen headquarters. As of the 16th of October 2015, 20 investigators worked on the case, targeting more than 2, but a lot fewer than 10 Volkswagen staff. As of November 2015, the Kraftfahrt Bundesamt KBA tested 50 cars from different manufacturers, both in laboratory and on road with PEMS. In May 2016, German Transport Minister Alexander Dobrindt said that Volkswagen, Audi, Mercedes-Benz, Opel and Porsche would all adjust settings that increased emission levels such as nitrogen dioxide in some diesel cars. On the 16th of March 2017, German authorities raided the headquarters of Audi in Bavaria and Volkswagen in Wolfsburg. On the 15th of April 2019, Winterken and 4 other executives were charged by prosecutors in Braunschweig, Germany. In August 2019, a district court ruled that updated software didn't properly address the emissions, citing a tested Tiguan turbodiesel engine that only reduced emissions in the ambient temperature range of 1032 degrees C, 5090 degrees F. The Hong Kong Environmental Protection Department banned the Volkswagen Caddy on the 16th of October 2015. As of the 16th of October 2015, the department had also tested the Amarok and Transporter commercial diesel vehicles but found them to be free of the defeat device. As of the 25th of September 2015, the Indian government directed the Automotive Research Association of India, ARAI, to investigate whether Volkswagen's vehicles had circumvented Indian laws and regulations on vehicle emission testing. On the 22nd of September 2015, the Indian Foundation of Transport, Research and Training, IFTAT, demanded a probe into Volkswagen's confirmation of production process for vehicles sold in India. In October, the Government of India later extended its deadline for the test results to the end of October 2015. On the 11th of January 2017, ARAI's investigation into defeat devices was published and revealed that Volkswagen India had installed a derivation of the software used in the US to defeat emission testing procedures in all of the Volkswagen Group's product range in India with the A189 engine series. This included 1.2L, 1.5L, 1.6L and 2.0L diesel engine variants across 3 different brands, Audi, Skoda and Volkswagen. The report called the defeat device not a product failure but a clear case of cheating. On the 6th of October 2015, Italy's regulator of competition announced plans to investigate whether Volkswagen engaged in improper commercial practices when promoting its affected diesel vehicles. On the 15th of October 2015, Italian police raided Volkswagen offices in Verona, and Volkswagen's Lamborghini offices in Bologna, placing 6 executives under investigation. In December 2016, the Dutch Consumers Authority ACM decided to investigate whether Dutch laws were broken and consumers misled. A report was due by June 2017. 5,000 Dutch Volkswagen owners have signed up for a class action lawsuit. When Netherlands has spent billions of euros on subsidies in energy-efficient cars in the recent years. Vague. Jesse Klaver from the political party GroenLinks responded, when, that the Netherlands must claim back money from the car manufacturers if it emerges that they have committed fraud in the Netherlands. Norway's prosecutors opened a criminal investigation into possible economic crimes committed by VW. In May 2016, Norway's sovereign wealth fund, the world's largest, $850 billion, and also one of the company's biggest investors, announced legal action against Volkswagen, to be filed in Germany as part of a class action lawsuit being prepared there. On the 1st of October 2015, the Romanian Automotive Register, RA, stopped issuing registration documents for Volkswagen vehicles equipped with Euro 5 diesel engines. On the 28th of September 2015, the Departments of Environmental Affairs and Transport and the National Regulator for Compulsory Specifications said they still needed to determine whether local cars had been affected by the rigging of U.S. vehicle emissions tests. As of the 19th of January 2016, South Korea, the world's 8th largest diesel car market, planned a criminal case against Volkswagen executives. On the 22nd of September 2015, South Korean authorities announced pollution control investigations into cars manufactured by Volkswagen and other European car manufacturers. Park Pan-kyu, a deputy director at South Korea's Environment Ministry, said, if South Korean authorities find problems in the Volkswagen diesel cars, the probe could be expanded to all German diesel cars. In November 2015, after defeat devices had been found in some Volkswagen models, the Environment Minister issued a fine of 14,100,000,000 and ordered the cars to be recalled. As of the 20th of January 2016, the country's environmental agency had filed criminal charges against VW, seeking up to $48 billion in penalties. Johannes Thurmer, managing director of Audi Volkswagen Korea, was placed under investigation and faced up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to 30,000,000. Volkswagen's recall plan for South Korea, submitted on 6 January 2016, was rejected by the authorities, as it failed to meet a number of key legal requirements. Authorities are also reported to have rejected a revised plan on 23 March 2016 for the same reasons. In May 2016, following a wider investigation of 20 diesel-powered cars, South Korean authorities accused Nissan of using a defeat device for manipulating emissions data for the British-built Nissan Qashqai, allegations which the Japanese carmaker denied. In August 2019, the government announced a ban on 8 VW Group diesel models cars for cheating emissions regulations. As of 28 October 2015, a Spanish court had opened a criminal probe against Volkswagen AG, to establish whether the company's actions broke any local laws. As of 29 September 2015, Sweden's chief prosecutor was considering starting a preliminary investigation into Volkswagen's emissions violations. This article needs additional citations for verification. Please help improve this article by adding citations to reliable sources. Unsourced material may be challenged and removed. Find sources: Volkswagen emissions scandal, News Times Newspapers, Times Books, Times Scholar, Times Chster, February 2018. Learn how and when to remove this template message. Switzerland on 26 September 2015, Switzerland banned sales of Volkswagen diesel cars, marking the most severe step taken so far by a government in reaction to the emissions crisis. The Department for Transport announced on 24 September 2015 that it would begin retesting cars from a variety of manufacturers to ensure the use of defeat devices was not industry-wide. The UK Parliamentary Transport Select Committee opened an inquiry into Volkswagen emissions violations with evidence sessions on 12 October 2015 and 25 January 2016. The Select Committee published a letter from Paul Willis, Managing Director of Volkswagen Group UK Limited of 21 December 2015, stating, in very simple terms, the software did amend the NOx characteristics in testing. The vehicles did meet EU5 standards, so it clearly contributed to meeting the EU5 standards in testing. A report on real-world tests commissioned by the government published in April 2016 showed emissions from 37 diesel engines up to 14 times higher than had been claimed, with every vehicle exceeding the legal limit of nitrogen oxide emissions. Only Volkswagen Group vehicles were found to have test cycle detection software. In January 2017, an action group announced it had 25,000 vehicle owners who were seeking compensation of £3,000, £4,000 per vehicle. In April 2018, new measures to prevent similar scandals secured final approval from MEPs. Recalled Volkswagen stored at Gary/Chicago International Airport VW suspended sales of TDI-equipped cars in the U.S. on 20 September 2015. On 21 September 2015, the EPA announced that should the allegations be proven, Volkswagen Group could face fines of up to $37,500 per vehicle, about $18 billion in total. In addition to possible civil fines, the United States Department of Justice Environment and Natural Resources Division were doing a criminal probe of Volkswagen AG's conduct. The 22nd of September 2015, the United States House Energy Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations announced that it would hold a hearing into the Volkswagen scandal, while New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman said that his investigation was already underway. As of 29 October 2015, over 25 other states' attorneys general, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Detroit, were involved in similar investigations. On 12 November 2015, the FBI confirmed to Engineering Magazine Ingenieurin that it had an ongoing investigation, after previous unconfirmed reports. As of 6 October 2015, the EPA decided to broaden its investigations on 228 diesel-powered models made by BMW, Chrysler, General Motors, Land Rover and Mercedes-Benz. The agency would initially focus on one used vehicle of each model, and widen the probe if it encountered suspicious data. The EPA has described, when, the hidden Volkswagen pollution as knowing endangerment. In May 2016, the owners of Mercedes-Benz confirmed that the U.S. Justice Department asked Daimler AG to run an internal investigation into its diesel emissions testing, as well. On 4 January 2016, the Justice Department, on behalf of the EPA, brought suit against Volkswagen in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan in Detroit. The complaint, seeking up to $46 billion in penalties for Clean Air Act violations, alleged that Volkswagen equipped certain 2.0 and 3.0-liter diesel engine vehicles with emissions cheating software, causing NOx pollution to exceed EPA's standards during normal driving conditions. It further claimed that Volkswagen entities provided misleading information and that material emissions impeded and obstructed efforts to learn the truth about the excess emissions. While so far recall discussions with the company have not produced an acceptable way forward. On 9 January 2016, U.S. officials criticized Volkswagen for citing German law in order to withhold documents from a group of states investigating the company's actions. Schneiderman also complained over Volkswagen's slowness in producing documents from its U.S. files, claiming the company has sought to delay responses until it completes its independent investigation several months from now. On 12 January 2016, U.S. regulators rejected Volkswagen's recall plans for its affected 2.0-liter diesel engines, submitted to CARB in December 2015. Claiming that these do not adequately address overall impacts on vehicle performance, emissions and safety. Volkswagen confirmed that its discussions with CARB will continue, and said that the company is working on bringing a package together which satisfies our customers first and foremost and then also the regulators. The states of Arizona, West Virginia, New Mexico, Texas and Harris County, Texas, all filed separate lawsuits seeking restitution from VW. The company also faces investigations by 48 United States state attorneys, as of February 2016. On 29 March 2016, Volkswagen was additionally sued by the United States Federal Trade Commission for false advertising due to fraudulent claims made by the company in its promotion of the affected models, which touted the environmental and economic advantages of diesel engines and contained Cli. of low emissions output. The suit was consolidated into existing litigation over the matter in San Francisco, which would allow the FTC to participate in global settlements over the matter. On 9 September 2016, James Robert Liang, a Volkswagen engineer working at Volkswagen's testing facility in Oxnard, California, admitted as part of a plea deal with the U.S. Department of Justice that the defeat device had been purposely installed in U.S. vehicles with the knowledge of his engineering team. Liang admitted that beginning in about 2006, he and his co-conspirators started to design a new EA189 diesel engine for sale in the United States. When he and his co-conspirators realized that they could not design a diesel engine that would meet the stricter U.S. emissions standards, they designed and implemented the defeat device software. On 7 January 2017, former top emissions compliance manager for Volkswagen in the U.S. Oliver Schmidt was arrested by the FBI on a charge of conspiracy to defraud the United States. On the 11th of January 2017, Volkswagen pleaded guilty to weaving a vast conspiracy to defraud the U.S. government and obstructing a federal investigation and agreed to pay a $2.8 billion criminal fine and $1.5 billion in civil penalties. In addition, 6 executives have been criminally charged. On 3 May 2018, former Volkswagen CEO Martin Winterken was indicted on fraud and conspiracy charges in the emissions scandal case. He has repeatedly denied any knowledge of the rigged emissions tests. On the 25th of October, 2016, a final settlement was approved by a judge. About 475,000 Volkswagen owners in the US can choose between a buyback or a free fix and compensation, if a repair becomes available. Volkswagen will begin administering the settlement immediately, having already devoted several hundred employees to handling the process. Buybacks range in value from $12,475 to $44,176, including restitution payments, and vary based on mileage. People who opt for a fix approved by the Environmental Protection Agency will receive payouts ranging from $5,100 to $9,852, depending on the book value of their car. Of the buyback, 138,000 had been completed by the 18th of February 2017, with 150,000 more to be returned. 52,000 chose to keep their cars. 67,000 diesel cars from model year 2015 were cleared for repairs, but left uncertainty about the future of 325,000 Generation 1 diesel VWs from the 2009 to 2014 model years, which use the Lean No X-Trap and would be harder to repair. In March 2018, Reuters reported that 294,000 cars from the buyback program have been stored at 37 regional U.S. staging sites. Some of the first reported sites included Colorado Springs, Colorado, Pontiac, Michigan, Baltimore, Maryland, San Bernardino, California, and Gary, Indiana. Volkswagen will also pay $2.7 billion for environmental mitigation and another $2 billion for clean emissions infrastructure. Toward that end, Volkswagen formed a U.S. subsidiary called Electrify America, LLC. Based in Reston, Virginia, that will manage the $2 billion brand-neutral zero-emission vehicle infrastructure programs and marketing campaigns for the next 10 years. The group will get 4 installments of $500 million, at 2-1/2-year intervals, subject to California Air Resources Board and U.S. EPA approval. Volkswagen plans to install hundreds of chargers with 50, 150 and even some ultra-fast 320 kilowatts charge rate, beginning in California in 2017. Competing charge networks and automakers saw the effort as controversial. In August 2018, Electrify America launched the first national media advertising campaign to promote electric vehicles. It featured the Chevy Bolt, with other EVs in cameo roles. On the 14th of March 2019, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission filed a complaint against Volkswagen and its former CEO Martin Winterken, alleging that they defrauded investors by selling corporate bonds and asset-backed securities while knowingly making false and misleading statements to government regulators, underwriters, and consumers as to the quality of their automobiles. By the 27th of September 2015, at least 34 class action lawsuits had been filed in the United States and Canada on behalf of Volkswagen and Audi owners, accusing Volkswagen of breach of contract, fraudulent concealment, false advertising, and violations of federal and state laws, and positing the de minimis head value of diesels that will be fixed to conform with pollution regulations, due to possible reductions in horsepower and fuel efficiency. According to Reuters, one reason class action lawyers were able to mobilize so fast is that the company's marketing to upscale professionals, including jurists, had backfired. As of the 30th of September 2015, at least one investor lawsuit seeking class action status for holders of Volkswagen American depositary receipts had been filed in the United States seeking compensation for the drop in stock value due to the emissions scandal. On the 7th of October 2015, the Los Angeles Times reported that the number of class action lawsuits filed had grown to more than 230. On the 19th of November 2015, ABC News Australia reported that more than 90,000 VW, Audi and Skoda diesel vehicle owners had filed a class action lawsuit against Volkswagen in the country's federal court. On the 8th of December, 2015, the United States Judicial Panel on Multi-District Litigation issued an order consolidating over 500 class actions against Volkswagen into a single multi-district litigation, captioned in Re. Volkswagen Clean Diesel Marketing, Sales Practices, and Products Liability Litigation. MDL number 2672, and transferred the entire MDL to Judge Charles R. Breyer of the Federal District Court for the Northern District of California. On the 21st of January, 2016, Judge Breyer held a hearing on the requests by over 150 plaintiffs' attorneys for some kind of leadership role in the gigantic Volkswagen MDL, of which over 50 sought to serve as lead counsel or to chair the plaintiffs' steering committee. More than 100 of those attorneys tried to squeeze into his San Francisco courtroom to argue their requests in person, and some of them had to stand in the aisles or in the outside hallway. That afternoon, Judge Breyer issued an order naming 22 attorneys to a plaintiffs' steering committee, and of those, selected Elizabeth Cabraza of Leaf Cabraza Hyman and Bernstein as chair of the committee. On the other side, Volkswagen hired Robert Giuffre of Sullivan and Cromwell as its lead defense counsel in the MDL. On the 14th of March, 2016, Volkswagen AG was sued in Germany for allegedly failing to inform financial markets in a timely manner about defeat devices used in diesel engines. The suit on behalf of 278 institutional investors seeks €3.3 billion, $3.7 billion at March 2016 exchange rate, in compensation. BlackRock Incorporated, the world's largest asset manager, joined other institutional investors in the lawsuit in September 2016. In November 2015, Moody's Investors Service downgraded Volkswagen's bond credit rating from a 2 to a 3. Fitch Ratings downgraded Volkswagen's long-term issuer default rating by 2 notches to BBB+, with a negative outlook. In May 2016, the Children's Investment Fund Management, run by Chris Hahn and retaining a 2% stake in Volkswagen preference stock, launched a campaign aiming to overhaul the company's executive pay system, arguing that for years management has been richly rewarded with massive compensation. Despite presiding over a productivity and profit collapse, thereby leading to an aggressive management behavior and contributing to the diesel emissions scandal. Later the same month, German investor group DSW called for an independent audit of Volkswagen's emissions cheating practices, arguing that the company's internal investigation might not necessarily make everything transparent to smaller shareholders. On the 28th of June, 2016, Volkswagen agreed to pay $15.3 billion to settle the various public and private civil actions in the United States, the largest settlement ever of an automobile-related consumer class action in United States history. On the 25th of October, 2016, a U.S. federal judge approved the settlement. Up to $10 billion will be paid to 475,000 Volkswagen or Audi owners whose cars are equipped with 2.0-liter diesel engines. Owners can also opt to have their car repaired free of charge or can sell it back to the company, who will pay back its estimated value from before the scandal began. Leases can also be terminated without incurring penalty charges. Independent of which options are selected, owners will still receive compensation ranging from $5,000 to $10,000 per affected car. Additionally, should they choose to decline the offer, they are free to pursue independent legal action against the firm. The settlement also includes $2.7 billion for environmental mitigation, $2 billion to promote zero-emissions vehicles and $603 million for claims by 44 states, Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico. Volkswagen agreed not to resell or export any vehicles it repurchases unless an approved emission repair has been completed. As of the 28th of June, 2016, no practical engineering solutions that would bring the vehicles into compliance with emission standards had been publicly identified. The consumer settlement will resolve all claims by participating consumers against Volkswagen and all its associates, except for any potential claims against Robert Bosch GmbH. Bosch supplied two exhaust treatment components and engine control software. In the case of 3.0 liter V6 TDI engines, Volkswagen suggested it can provide an uncomplicated fix that will bring the vehicles into compliance without adversely affecting performance, a move that the company hopes will avoid an expensive buyback of these cars. European Investment Bank's possible involvement in January 2016. Documents obtained by Bankwatch Network provided more details for a European Investment Bank statement that its loans to Volkswagen may have been connected to the car maker's use of cheating devices to rig emission tests. The Antrieb RDI loan was supposedly for creating cleaner drive trains. However, during the bank's annual press conference on the 14th of January 2016, the bank president, Werner Hoyer, admitted that the €400 million loan might have been used in the creation of an emissions defeat device. Many redacted documents obtained by Bankwatch, along with the EIB not disclosing the details of the loan, hint to the bank possibly already knowing that there were some discrepancies with the Antrieb RDI loan. In 2017, the European Anti-Fraud Office, OLAF, found that Volkswagen had misled the bank about the car company's use of emissions cheating software, in a scandal that has become known as Dieselgate. Also in 2017, Hoyer said the bank did not find any indication that its loans had been misused. However, 6 months later news website Politico reported that Olaf had concluded that Volkswagen acquired the EIB loan through fraud and deception. Vehicle lineup at 2012 Volkswagen Great Canadian Clean Diesel Tour. By the 22nd of September 2015, Volkswagen had admitted that 11 million vehicles sold worldwide are affected, in addition to the 480,000 vehicles with 2.0 LTDI engines sold in the US. According to Volkswagen, vehicles sold in other countries with the 1.6L and 2.0L four-cylinder TDI engine known as Type EA189 are also affected. This software is also said to affect EA188 and the 2015 EA288 generation of the four-cylinder. Worldwide, around 1.2 million Skodas and 2.1 million Audis may contain the software, including TTS and Qs. VW states that Euro 6 model in Germany are not affected, while 2015 US models with the same EA288 engines are affected. This suggests that normal operation measurements that place the EA288 NOx emissions between the two standards limits were readily available at Volkswagen headquarters in Germany. According to Muller, the 1.2 and 2.0 liter models may be updated by software, whereas the around 3 million 1.6 liter require various hardware solutions, and some cars may even be replaced. The cars are so diverse that many different solutions are required. Over 1/4 of Volkswagen sales in the US are diesel-powered vehicles. The corporation has chosen a market strategy that emphasizes clean diesel over electric cars or hybrid electric vehicles. The vehicles affected by the recall in the US include the following model years. The EPA revealed on the 2nd of November 2015 that Volkswagen had shipped additional diesel models with defeat devices, including the 2014 VW Touareg and the 2015 Porsche Cayenne. Model year 2016 Audi Quattro diesels were also found affected, including several 2016 Audi Quattro models, the 2016 Audi Quattro A6, A7, A8, A8L, and Q5. Synthis Giles, the EPA Assistant Administrator for Office of Enforcement and Compliance Assurance, called out the company for further refusing to take responsibility for its failure to comply with the law. Under U.S. Federal Clean Air Act, Volkswagen could be liable for up to $375 million in fines. As of the 26th of October, 2015, the resale value of affected model cars in the U.S. was down from 5 to nearly 16% depending on model, as compiled by Black Book and Kelley Blue Book based on used car auction prices, the volume of which was also down. On the 15th of March, 2016, Volkswagen Financial Services took a write-down of €353 million to cover a potential decline in the residual value of the fleet of its leased cars. On the 21st of September, 2015, the first day of trading after the EPA's notice of violation to Volkswagen became public, share prices of Volkswagen AG fell 20% on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. On the 22nd of September, the stock fell another 12%. On the 23rd of September, the stock quickly fell 10.5%, dropping below €100 to a record 4-year low before regaining some lost ground. Share prices of other German automakers were also affected, with BMW down 4.9% and Daimler down 5.8%. A year later, Volkswagen stock was down by 30%. Qatar, one of the biggest Volkswagen shareholders with a 17% stake in the company, lost nearly $5 billion as the company's stock value fell. The U.S. sale of Volkswagens was 23,882 vehicles in November 2015, a 24.7% decline from November 2014. In South Korea, sales in November rose 66% to 4,517 units from a year ago due to the Volkswagen's aggressive marketing efforts such as a discount of up to 18,000,000 US dollar 15,600 at December 2015 exchange rates, for some models. In Great Britain, the scandal did not affect sales, which increased in 2016 to an all-point high, placing Volkswagen second in the league of best-selling cars. VW sales across Europe returned to growth in April 2016 for the first time since the scandal broke, with a group market share of 25.2%, compared to its previous level of 26.1%. The Volkswagen scandal more generally raised awareness over the high levels of pollution being emitted by diesel vehicles built by a wide range of car makers, including Volvo, Renault, Mercedes, Jeep, Hyundai, Citroën, BMW, Mazda, Fiat, Ford and Peugeot. Independent tests carried out by ADAC proved that, under normal driving conditions, diesel vehicles including the Volvo S60, Renault's Espace Energy and the Jeep Renegade, exceeded legal European emission limits for nitrogen oxide, NOx, by more than 10 times. Researchers have criticized the inadequacy of current regulations and called for the use of a UN-sanctioned test called Worldwide Harmonized Light Vehicles Test Procedures that better reflects real-life driving conditions, as well as on-road emissions testing via PEMS. The two types of new tests started to come into force in 2017, with critics saying that car firms have lobbied fiercely to delay their implementation, due to the high cost of meeting stricter environmental controls. The Volkswagen scandal has increased scrutiny on combustion engines in general, and Volkswagen and several other car makes have been shown to pollute more than allowed. A French government report in 2016 investigated 86 different cars, and about 1/5th of those were found to comply with emission laws. Most did not. One car was measured to emit 17 times more than allowed. An overview of tests showed that cars turned off the exhaust improvement device in many ordinary conditions, with 5 out of 38 cars complying with regulations in an English test. A German test showed 10 out of 53 cars compliant when exposed to temperatures below 10 degrees Celsius. A French test showed 4 out of 52 cars compliant when tested outside, not in a laboratory. A 2016 test showed Volkswagen diesel cars to emit at about twice the Euro 6 limit, and several other manufacturers emitting more, up to 14 times higher. 38 out of 40 tested diesel cars failed a NOx test since 2016. Renault believes that diesel cars would become significantly more expensive when re-engineered to comply with new emissions regulations as a result of the Volkswagen disclosures, to the point that diesel cars may not be competitive. Industry-wide, small diesel engines are being replaced by bigger ones, and electric car sales have risen. On the 16th of June, 2016, Volkswagen announced plans to make major investments into the production of electric vehicles. Matthias Müller predicted that Volkswagen would introduce 30 all-electric models over the next 10 years, and that electric vehicles would account for around a quarter of its annual sales by 2025. Volkswagen plans to fund the initiative by streamlining its operations and engaging in cost-cutting. Müller stated that the changes would require us, following the serious setback as a result of the diesel issue, to learn from mistakes made, rectify shortcomings and establish a corporate culture that is open, value-driven and rooted in integrity. Volkswagen plans a battery factory near Sagata to compensate for the reduced numbers of piston engines. In November 2016, Volkswagen and its labor unions agreed to reduce the workforce by 30,000 people until 2021 as a result of the costs from the violations. However, 9,000 new jobs would come by producing more electric cars. Volkswagen CEO Herbert Diess stated to the German financial publication Handelsblatt that the company planned to stop marketing diesel models in the US, citing the legal framework. A study made by researchers in Tel Aviv University explored the effect of the scandal on the secondary market in Israel. According to this study, the Volkswagen emissions scandal had a statistically significant negative effect on the number of transactions in the secondary market involving the affected models, nearly -18%, and on their resale price, nearly -6%. The study also found that the reduction in the number of transactions was driven mostly by private sellers and that non-private sellers barely shied away from the market. These findings suggest that the supply of used cars among private sellers is much more elastic relative to the supply of used cars among non-private sellers. Monkeygate. In January 2018, it was revealed that Volkswagen had experimented on monkeys in May 2015 to prove that diesel exhaust was not harmful to primates. The disclosure of the tests was named Monkeygate. However, the test car was a Volkswagen Beetle fitted with the defeat device that produced far less emissions in the experiment than it would on the highway. Volkswagen's top lobbyist, Thomas Stig, was suspended on the 23rd of January 2018. German Chancellor Angela Merkel stated she hoped that all facts in the matter would be made known promptly, urging complete transparency. She additionally noted that Germany's Transport Minister, Alexander Dobrindt, was in ongoing communication with Volkswagen. The German Green Party accused Merkel of knowing about the defeat devices with a wink. Michel Sapin, the French finance minister, called for an investigation of diesel-powered cars that would encompass the entire continent of Europe. Catherine Bearder, MEP for South East England, commented on the 27th of October 2015 in the European Parliament that we now have the political momentum for a radical overhaul that will ensure car makers cannot dodge the rules, defending an EU resolution meant to specifically cut deadly pollution from sale vehicles. However, when the European Commission proceeded with passing legislation that allowed the car industry more time to comply with the newer regulation, while also permitting cars, even under the more realistic tests, to emit more than twice the legal limit of nitrogen oxides, NOx, from 2019 and up to 50% more from 2021, Bearder denounced the legislation as a disgraceful stitch-up by national governments, who are once again putting the interests of car makers ahead of public health. London Assembly member Stephen Knight suggested on the 1st of November 2015 that diesel vehicles should either be banned in the future, or face stringent tests before being allowed to enter London's low-emissions zone. The city's deputy mayor for the environment, Matthew Pangshas, responded that such measures could lead to serious economic problems. Major car manufacturers, including Toyota, GM, PSA Peugeot Citroën, Renault, Mazda, Daimler, Mercedes-Benz, and Honda, issued press statements reaffirming their vehicles' compliance with all regulations and legislation for the markets in which they operate. The Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders described the issue as affecting just one company, with no evidence to suggest that the whole industry might be affected. Renault-Nissan CEO Carlos Ghosn said it would be difficult for an automaker to conceal internally an effort to falsify vehicle emissions data, such as has happened at Volkswagen AG. I don't think you can do something like this hiding in the bushes. Jim Holder, the editorial director of Haymarket Automotive, which publishes What Car and Autocar, opined that there had never been a scandal in the automotive industry of this size. A commentary in Spiegel Online argued that the Volkswagen scandal will affect the entire German industry, and that German companies operating abroad will face a decrease in competitiveness. Alan Brown, chairman of the Volkswagen National Dealer Advisory Council, commented on the scandal's negative impact on U.S. dealers, who were already struggling with overpriced products and a deteriorating relationship between the company and the dealer body. Car and Driver similarly emphasized Volkswagen's inability to efficiently operate in the U.S. market, while also suggesting that the company had grossly underestimated the EPA's power, and inexplicably failed to go public before the story broke, despite receiving ample warning. Tesla Motors CEO Elon Musk was asked about his opinion whether the scandal will weaken the consumer's view on green technologies. He responded saying he expects the opposite to happen. What Volkswagen is really showing is that we've reached the limit of what's possible with diesel and petrol. The time has come to move to a new generation of technology. Similarly, analysts at Fitch suggested the Volkswagen diesel emissions crisis was likely to affect the entire automotive industry, with petrol cars potentially enjoying a revival in Europe and greater investment being poured into electric vehicles. Other commentators argued that the diesel engine will nevertheless regain its footing in the market, due to its international indispensability, low CO2 emissions and strong presence in the U.S. pickup and commercial truck segments. On the 29th of September, 2015, S&P Dow Jones Indices and Robeco SAM stated that Volkswagen AG's stock will be delisted from the Dow Jones Sustainability Indexes after close of trading on the 5th of October, 2015. Among the reasons for the delisting, the statement issued by Robeco SAM cited social and ethical reasons, and confirmed that Volkswagen will no longer be identified as an industry group leader in the automobiles and components industry group. In early October, Green Car Journal rescinded its Green Car of the Year awards, for models that best raise the bar in environmental performance, that were given to the 2009 Volkswagen Jetta TDI and 2010 Audi A3 TDI models. In December 2015, a group of business and environmental leaders, including Tesla CEO Elon Musk, addressed an open letter to CARB, urging the agency to absolve Volkswagen of recalling the 85,000 diesel vehicles affected by the scandal in the US, and argued that Volkswagen should instead be asked to allocate resources to an accelerated rollout of zero-emissions vehicles, cure the air, not the cars. The letter, which includes a 5-step legally enforceable plan, argues that this course of action could result in a 10-for-1 or greater reduction in pollutant emissions as compared to the pollution associated with the diesel fleet cheating, while suggesting that the affected vehicles on the road in California represent an insignificant portion of total vehicles emissions in the state and do not, individually, present any emissions-related risk to their owners or occupants. Similar requests were put forward by the American Lung Association, who petitioned the EPA to determine Volkswagen to promote zero-emissions vehicles, build sustainable transport infrastructure and retrofit older diesel models with superior emissions controls. Volkswagen got a 2016 Ig Nobel Prize in Chemistry from the scientific humor magazine Annals of Improbable Research for solving the problem of excessive automobile pollution emissions by automatically, electromechanically producing fewer emissions whenever the cars are being tested. The Volkswagen TDI emissions scandal has received widespread negative media exposure, with headlines fronting the websites of multiple news-gathering and reporting organizations. Reuters said that the crisis at Volkswagen could be a bigger threat to the German economy than the consequences of the 2015 Greek sovereign debt default. Deutsche Welle, one of Germany's state broadcasters, said that a lawsuit tsunami was headed for Volkswagen and that the scandal had dealt a blow to the country's psyche and Made in Germany brand. Popular Mechanics said that the scandal is much worse than a recall, highlighting that Volkswagen had engaged in a pattern of cynical deceit. The Volkswagen emissions cheating scandal has joined the ranks of other gate-suffix stories, with media coining both Dieselgate and Emissionsgate to describe it. Despite the scandal, one poll conducted for Bild suggested that the majority of Germans, 55%, still have great faith in Volkswagen, with over three-quarters believing that other car makers are equally guilty of manipulation. Similarly, a poll conducted by the management consultancy Profit in October 2015 indicated that two-thirds of Germans believe the scandal to be exaggerated and continue to regard Volkswagen as a builder of excellent cars. A survey by Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Management, Brand Imperatives and Savata said that nearly 50% of U.S. consumers had either a positive or very positive impression of Volkswagen, while 7.5% had a very negative impression. Another U.S. survey by market researcher Auto Pacific found that 64% of vehicle owners do not trust Volkswagen and only 25% of them have a positive view of Volkswagen following the scandal.